Welcome back, and hello if you're new. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Psycroptic, they're governed by these absolutely ridiculously technical passages and grooves which are tighter than Rob Halford's leather. Following their absolutely brilliant self-titled release of 2015's Psycroptic, the band are set to return and challenge not only everyone but themselves with their brand new effort, As the Kingdom Drowns. Fast and furious riffing throughout, this is Psycroptic doing what Psycroptic do best, with the element of groove being their most volatile weapon. Primed in single directive, and despite it containing these guitar athletics, groove is absolutely paramount in the track. Working in tandem with these absolutely fantastic legato-led riffs, there's always enough space for the actual riffs themselves to not only be able to grow and evolve, but to be able to breathe at the same time. However, it's here that Psycroptic essentially begin their foray into newer territory, for example with the chorus section of Directive, which really brings up this idea of atmosphere, something that the band were experimenting with on their previous record, but I feel they've pushed the boat out slightly on As the Kingdom Drowns. Beyond the Black being a prime example, there are these small additions of melody which elevate the riffs somewhat. So they just create this kind of slightly higher being, I guess, is a good way of representing it. There are small elements of melody, and the addition of a choir in the chorus, for example, just lifts those riffs slightly where you need them to. And there's even piano in the title track, As the Kingdom Drowns. And it is these sort of, you know, newer ideas that Psycroptic are experimenting with that I really kind of enjoyed on the record. Despite the relentless pace that Psycroptic always work at, there's always an element of groove, and I feel that sometimes the band are at their best when they're really quite slow. It's also worth mentioning that frontman Jason Pepiat is really on fire with this record, and particularly the way that he's decided to kind of like put his vocal sections into the track makes sure that, you know, you can follow him throughout these labyrinthine riffs. But this is a Psycroptic record, and for those who know Psycroptic, there are so many of those like, oh yeah moments where the element of groove and technicality match perfectly. The band are absolute fiends when it comes to dynamics as well, and the importance of this is that they make a riff that could be very clinical and very stale, actually quite interesting and evolve at the same time. Case in point being the second verse of Directive, where the guitars drop out just for a second, and then those double pedal kicks just come in with like do-do-do-do-do. And there's fantastic transitions that the band employ as well. For example, again, later on the track, Directive. And the band build again on this idea that they had on the previous record, for example with Upon These Stones, where they've got this lovely, you know, that lovely sound that nylon guitar strings make. And it does, again, build this atmosphere, but it's also quintessentially very much Psycroptic. Not only does it make for a nice change of scenery and a bit of a breather from the relentless aggression of Psycroptic, but it shows that Psycroptic are slowly but surely evolving at the same time. Throughout its listen, the album plays with these different ideas, yet remains quintessentially Psycroptic. If you ever needed reminding that Psycroptic have got more than technical chops, Upon These Stones' midsection is a perfect reminder. Without a doubt, Deadlands is my favourite track on the record. And you know why? It's got a solo.
Don't bullshit me. Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
I've seen so many videos of Joe soloing. And finally, to be able to hear that Joe has delivered not only a really good solo, but a solo that fits in the idea of what the song encompasses. And again, it's just another evidence of how Psycroptic are evolving. There are certain sections that do seem slightly clumsy in how the band would get out of these newer atmospheric sections. I don't necessarily mean it, you know, when it comes to their tried and tested riffing technique, but there are just some sections where it's just a little bit clumsy, and I think it kind of brings the album's pace down a little bit, and does work against the record just a touch. You know, that being said, they're not bad, but it's just maybe the growing pains of this evolution, let's just say. Psycroptic are without a doubt one of the most inspired death metal bands out there. They may not have pushed the boat out really that far, but it's interesting to see that they are pushing it out. Psycroptic's intrinsic ability to bind delicate yet powerful rhythm is at an all-time high on their brand new album, and they should be praised for that evolution. And although there are some growing pains, it's an absolutely solid record. And for me, it's going to be a 4 out of 5 skulls. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll have loads more reviews, live reviews, interviews, all sorts of stuff on my channel, and loads more on the way. But until then, drop a comment and I'll see you guys next week for another album review. Alright, take care.